and welcome here. We have a lot of different kind of thoughts about it, so we'll come to that. So this is one of the first event, for a lot of other events which is going to come in future. And before going any further, you want to take a tangent?
Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry about the late start, but because of the technical glitches that most of the time happens because of Moore's law. So here is the agenda. Are you able to see very clearly from the back? Okay, so it's a packed program, so let me share the agenda items as well as the schedule that we have planned for so far. In the opening session, we will quickly share what's the goal of this event, what's our overall plan, because that's the common question I have come across, Soumalya and I have come across from many people, because this is just a start, it's not the only thing that we are planning to do. So we will explain very quickly in about 7 to 10 minutes what's the goal, what's the objective, and a few bookkeeping items more on the logistics, something that we have to follow so as to meet everything, whatever we plan for this event. Followed by that, we have a keynote speaker, Arindam. Arindam will talk about unique aspects, which is more on the intelligent automation and the separating reality from the hype. So, which is very leadership kind of talk. It's a very small talk, but that will set the context. Followed by, we have a special guest, Mini Suri. So thank you, Arindam, for connecting with Mini, and Mini, thank you for coming. So we will have a discussion with Mini in more of a fireside chat kind of format, where I will talk to Mini in terms of what's the area that conversational AI is going ahead. So the topic would be on conversational AI. That's about 15 minutes. It's more of a fireside chat format. Followed by that, Prabir Ghosh will take care of some as a special guest, and his topic would be industrial automation using robots, and some of the untold story that he's going to cover in 10 minutes. Followed by that, we have a roundtable discussion. We have 5 to 6 speakers there, and as part of that 5 to 6 speakers, that's a very unique and very relevant topics that will be started by, we will have 5 different speakers. Amita Ochel, he will talk about the trend in automation in the banking and financial services. We have Devashish Da, he will talk about the service provider network automation. We have Jantu Da, he will talk about voice, contact center, and the network automation. We have Shantanu Da, he will talk about smart automation using AI and ML. And Mola is going to have a very unique topic. He's more on the interconnections between the agile practices and the automation. So that's about 30 to 40 minutes. 30 minutes is a moderated kind of discussion, question answer, followed by 10 minutes from the audience. After that, we will have a next generation view. What about the network automation, or how we can build the brand and make it much better and stronger using the digital platform. So Ritisha is going to talk about that. And thanks to Ritisha, because she took in a very short notice, she prepared this one. And that's she's a talented person, so definitely we will have that session. After that, we will have Bhaskar. So Bhaskar will talk on the overall experience of this particular event, because it's a long overdue. Now his experience is a final word, as well as some of the questions that we will get from the audience, more on the feedback thing. Now we will have a couple of points to share in terms of feedback, what do's and don'ts that we will follow in this session. And finally, the vote of thanks. We do need that vote of thanks, because without your support, we couldn't make it possible. So we do need to mention all of them, and especially the special mentions who definitely deserve some special credit as well. So moving on to the next one. So this is our goal. So this is, so do you want to cover it, or? Okay, so the goal of this event is primarily to share our professional experience. So it's an enriching experience, because after we passed out from our college, perhaps there is not many forum within our community, except the cultural events, where we can share our experience, no matter what is our background, what kind of work, what's the domain we are working for. So this is an event that we talked about. Soumalya has done a lot of research, and he came up with these ideas as well in this time. And so that it's an enriching experience to share what we are doing, and also from the audience perspective, because today's audience will be tomorrow's speakers, and through that we will share each other and help us grow each other. In line with that, what we want to know is what's happening in the latest as more on the engineering part of it. And it's very much connected with the business problems. Nowadays, it's not the technology that stands alone. Unless we have some business problems to solve with the help of technology and science, it's of no use. So our objective is how we can connect that engineering solutions to solve the business problems. So that's also our goal. Next is the partnering with the business propositions. Now, it's not an immediate goal that we're going to do right now, but over time, we might utilize our capability, our expertise to solve some of the business things. So whether individually or as a team, we can solve some of the business propositions, which are more of a partnership thing that we will talk maybe in the next events and others. And we have an extension program from this one, which we are planning very soon, so that the next generation or the kids of the BECAA alumni we can encourage them as a part of the STEAM program, which is more on the outreach component of this one. And the BEC brand building, which is also extremely important, because if we look at our network of Bengal Engineering College or currently IIES Shipur, there's thousands of people across this country as well. But perhaps we need to do how we can build the brand both in the academia as well as in the corporate sector. So that's also one of our goals. May not be immediately, but over time. And finally, it will also help for the profile boosting. If we use the networks, if we use the digital channels, it will help the speakers, the audience, what's our contribution, and that will definitely help in terms of our profile boosting. Somal, if you want to add in.
Basically, it's a compilation of ideas we received from a lot of different people. I'm just not going to name everybody. It's a lot of people, and we got feedback. So we thought, we can try out different kind of formats. In a format, we'll be discussing idea. In a format, we'll be doing more than just an idea, right? Partnering or doing something for the alma mater. So we'll come to that later. If anybody has any feedback, we'll correct that. We can have another session for that process. So this one, if you look at it, this is a nice bubble chart Suman has prepared. Every bubble has some kind of meaning actually. So if you look at professional networking in the center of it, but using that, we have a lot of other initiatives of different kind of significance that we consider at this point in time, which is going to change over a period of time. So like ideation is one aspect, outreach, how we brand, build the brand of BEC, and that includes a website and other different kind of channels through which we are going to promote it, right? So it's just it's brand building for BEC, brand building for every participant who are coming and speaking. So we will be hoping that everybody will be taking turn as the events will be coming in the future, and will be participating, speaking, presenting something, and all of these are going to be we are going to store it on our website so that if they want for their profile they can tag it, use their for their own upliftment. What you say, you can put it that way.
Okay, just a quick note on this slide. So it's a representative diagram. Everything, whatever our objective or the goals we have shared in the previous slide, this is kind of our initiatives. Now, everything centers around the professional networking, that's why it's at the center. And the different other bubbles, as Soumalya mentioned, that's a different initiative. And the distance of the bubble from the center is more of the duration by which we want to achieve that. And also size of the bubble gives you an indication more of the importance or weightage of that. Now, I know I'm in the middle of the talented engineers, so don't take it true to scale. It's a representative. So next one, I will just take a couple of minutes on this one before we move on to the actual speaker series. Now, logistics perspective, we have snacks and tea and coffee, so feel free to take it anytime. The second one is the registration. Joydeep is going to do. So those who haven't done the registration, please do the registration, please. I think it's better to do it at the beginning. The next one is on the time limit perspective. So we have 2 hours. Initially we planned from 3 to 5. Now might be we will negotiate if we can extend the time. So within these 2 hours, we have to cover a lot. So my humble request to speakers as well as the audience to stick to the timeline so that we can even accommodate all the speakers towards the end. Otherwise, if we cut off somebody who are actually scheduled for the end, it's not fair as well. So if we stick to the timeline, make our questions and comments, whatever it is, brief and crisp, I think that will help all of us. And the speeches would be recorded, so that's just for your information. And regarding the feedback, now we will have, if we go to the previous slides, when Vaskunda will talk about the experience of this event, we will have kept 10 minutes for the feedback, how we can improve it. Having said that, I don't think 10 minutes is enough in terms of capturing the feedback. Now, as we have to do the balancing act, one is to make it engaging, at the same time management. We will get the feedback whatever is possible within the timeline, and after that we have the email and all those channels where we will capture the feedback and we will seriously look into it, how we can improve it next time onwards. So without further ado, I will go to the next one, and Arindam will talk about our next, or the first keynote speaker, and that is on the intelligent automation, separating reality from the art. Over to you, Arindam.
It started well. Has to happen, right? All right. I think first thing I want to thank Suman and Shomana for doing this. This is excellent. It's long overdue. So I think a round of applause to both of them. First. I want to thank Mini for coming and taking the time. And I've always known Mini as an alumnus of MIT, but I didn't realize that Mini is also an alumnus of Gindi, which is the oldest engineering college followed by BECAA College. So there is an interesting connection there as well. Okay. So if I go to my presentation, I think I will, although I told Suman that I'd speak on this particular topic, but I might just switch it a little bit. Now Minu will be here and she knows a lot more about AI than certainly I do. There's Chandra who runs the whole portfolio of that, and so I don't want to be the one who will be talking about smart automation here. There are better people to talk about. So let me kind of ground it more into the broader theme of why we are talking about smart automation, right? So there are a couple of interesting slides here. So let's not forget for a second, human brain is amazing, right? We all think that the robots are going to eat all of our jobs. It's still quite a long way off. Just look at this evolution of that. What the memory of a single cellular model to an iPad, to a PlayStation, to a rat neocortical column, whatever it is, to an IBM Watson, to a rat brain, to a human brain, we are far from reaching the capacity of human brain. Okay? By and large, from my experience of being in the industry for about 20 years, I have seen, and no offense to Mini for all the wonderful products that you guys have, your lowest performing analyst at any point in time is better than the best performing bot. That's kind of the scale of difference we're talking about. So let's remember that the human brain is an amazing thing. If you go to the next one, the machines are catching up. Okay, the one on the left-hand side is the first computer in onboard Apollo 11. That was how it looked. This is the iPhone 11 Pro. Whoever in this room has it, join the for sure. Right? You have it? Yeah? That's about 7 million times faster than the computer we had on Apple. Right? So machines are catching up. We're talking about a 40 to 45 years of time horizon. Let's go to the next one. The cost of computing is falling through the floor. Just look at this. The per 1 million transaction back in 1993, and I'm not going back to 1960s, used to cost somewhere about $500 to $600. Right? Today it's 3 cents. We're talking about less than 25 years, 30 years. Right? So the amount of data that we are generating today is going through the roof. The cost of processing the data is falling through the floor. Right? And machines are getting powerful. The computing power is becoming enormous. So that creates, Suman, I can go from here? What it's creating is a massive disintermediation. Right? This is an interesting example here. I mean, if you look at the left-hand side, that's like a classic club sandwich, right? Layers and layers of stuff. You got the bread, you got the cheese, you got the ham, another form of meat, you got some lettuce, some pickles, right? You got a whole sandwich. What we are doing today, these days, we're just crushing it in one go and making it a cheese sandwich. Right? And how is it so? Think about Uber. Right? And everybody talks about Uber being the pioneer of gig economy. When you spent your time in Uber a couple of years, pioneer of gig economy. This is the beginning of everybody's job going away. Everybody's doing the third job, fourth job, fifth job. Forget all of that hype. Just think about what Uber did and reflect. Go back 10 years, pre-Uber days. And if you are, there are a lot of consultants here, ex-consultants, we all travel, right? Friday morning, I'm looking at Sumit, they're getting ready to leave the hotel and take the flight back to New York. Just trace your life back for the first 2 hours. What do you do? 11 o'clock in the night on Thursday, you tell the reception with this clunky phone saying, give me a call at 4 o'clock in the morning. Wake up call. So a call comes from the reception, right? Then you tell the receptionist, get me a taxi. If you're in New York, you're good. You walk out, you hail the cab, that's fine. If you're in Rapid City, Iowa, God help you. You got to book the taxi 3 days in advance. Then a taxi shows up. Right? So the taxi shows up, get into the taxi with your suitcase, your, whatever, your backpack. God help if you have done some shopping, you have 2 shopping bags. Come to the airport, then you pull out your card and the taxi driver says, I only want cash. So you have a cash or a card. Then you get into the lounge. That's your left hand side. That's a layered experience, correct? Different intermediary in one experience, from getting out of the bed, from the hotel lobby to the airport lounge. What Uber has done has crushed all of it. Knocked everything out. You don't have to tell the receptionist to get you a cab, jump into it, figure out where to go, at that point describe the direction and all of that, and then figure out whether to pay card or cash and pull the wallet out of your pocket and pay. You don't have to do anything. That's knocked out the 4 intermediary in the middle with a single app. So it's far more powerful than an app. If you think about it in the concept of an app, you're making a massive mistake. What's happening is disintermediation, right? That's where the world is moving. It's moving because we have enormous amount of data that we are capturing thanks to this little thing here, right? The phone, correct? iPhone 11 Pro, right? Jayanto's latest acquisition. The cost of computing falling through the roof, and the ability to store, falling through the floor, and ability to store is going through the roof. The combination of that gets to a disintermediation. And then what's happening? We are also seeing this is the other trend. We're seeing the miniaturization of transactions. We call the rock to sand, right? So again, what does that mean? If you go back a couple of years, if you go back 20 years, half of the merchants will accept credit cards and other half will not accept credit cards. So the debate was, do you accept card or not accept card, right? Today you go to China, you pull out your card, people look at you as if you got 3 heads, because nobody uses card. There's no concept of a credit card in China. No concept, because you only use in your wallet. Credit card is a novelty. I'll tell you one thing, it's very fun, right? I'm still old-fashioned. I bought something, one of my colleagues in Poland bought a jacket from me. It's probably got one of the finest European jackets in Poland, let me tell you. I'm wash it. So he bought it from me, and then I picked it up, and I gave him a check. A check from my PNC. He took it, he said, I don't know how to encash that, but I'll give it a shot. He had no idea how to actually deposit that check in Hungary. I'm not talking about any other place, in Hungary. He said he doesn't know how to deposit this foreign currency check, and he has never received the check in a very, very, very long time. Right? So 3 months later, I didn't see this check hitting my account. And he said he's basically planning to frame it. He didn't put it in the bank. He said, I may not get another check in my life. So I want to keep it. Right? So we are going through a whole different ecosystem where the miniaturization of the transaction has happened in a massive scale. Right? I'll give another example. I was in New Hampshire seeing my daughter, and on the way back I stopped by Dunkin' Donuts in Southport, Wallace. I went there, I asked for a coffee, and for some reason I decided not to have it. I said, I'll have a hash brown. That's 99 cents. And as always, I don't carry any cash with me. So I said, I'm so embarrassed I had to give you a card for 99 cents. Didn't even blink. Didn't even blink. Now think about the bank, the card company, the city card. So it went to, unfortunately, the hit went to my own company. So on that 99 cents, there are 3 or 4 layers of service fees that go up, right? That the intermediary, the interbank fees there, that's done by first data, etc. Then there is Visa or MasterCard, then there is merchant fees, and then the net of it is what goes to the merchant. Even then, the 99 cents, the merchant didn't blink to accept the card. What is that happening to other ecosystems and other products? That's giving birth to things like Venmo, like Zelle. We have got new words, new vocabulary, right? Good old days, meaning good old now is 10 years. People first said, I'm Googling it. That was the same. You don't call, I'm searching it, you're Googling it. Now people say, I'm Venmoing it. I'm Ubering it. So we have basically even killed the English language. We have, essentially the distinction between noun and verb is gone. The distinction between common noun and proper noun and verb is all gone, right? So that's where the intensity of technology. That's where. Trends are everywhere, right? You just have to look. This is iPhone launching the iPhone 10X. This is not the 11. 10X, it's just a photo. Somewhere in Hong Kong. And here's a quote. And I'd like, if anybody knows who said that. This was said in 2007. There is no chance that iPhone is going to get any significant market share. No chance. 2007. Any guess who said that? Anybody? Steve Ballmer, the CEO of Microsoft. 2007 couldn't predict what is going to happen to the market. Somebody who spent all his life in technology and the CEO of Microsoft said there is no chance in hell that iPhone will ever get any market share. No wonder that he's out. And Nadella is it, right? Change the company dramatically. The next one. So what it does to the people, right? All of us. I think I saw this interesting quote there, which is, there's a McKinsey analysis, there's World Bank. Automation could wipe out 2/3 of the jobs in developing countries. Well, that's an exaggeration or not, but it is going to change the jobs. What does it mean? Okay, I'm going to cut it out. What does it mean to all of us? The 4 things that we have to be, right? And our people, it's not just us. You've got to be relevant. You've got to be relevant. And you see this picture, just one. There's 2 photos here. It's 10 years apart above. This is the Easter parade on 5th Avenue. If you look at the one on the left-hand side in 1900, this is all buggies. 100%. There's not a single car. 10 years later, there's not a single buggy. It's all cars. You are either relevant or you're not. Right? It's very clear. You've got to be curious. Even the Queen is curious. Even the Queen, the epitome of stodginess, is curious. You've got to be bold, right? You've got to be bold. You've got to be like Ali, who broke every single barrier that anybody can think of. Most important, keeping that in mind, there are people who will be affected. You've got to be compassionate, right? Because we could be in that place, our colleagues could be in that place, your team could be in that place. So this is what sets the stage for of what intelligent automation is all about. That's all I have to say.
Thank you so much. Thanks for helping us separating reality from hype to sharing the reality part of it. Thank you. Okay, so we'll move on to the next one. It will be a fireside chat with Mini. So it will be 15-minute event. Before that, I need to find out my papers because I have some questions there.
Hello.
So first of all, thank you so much for having me here. Really thanks a lot. It's my honor and pleasure to be talking to all of you. the oldest, I guess I was the oldest. You were the second oldest. That's fine. But at least we were one of the oldest engineering college, and I can see the talent that has come to the US. But just a brief intro about me. I had been with Citi for many years in the engineering role. 2017, I was tasked to make Citi a conversational bank. So I got into a lot of conversational AI technology at Citi. 2018, I left Citi to join Uber to run their intelligent automation. So that's where I basically built the whole intelligent automation space at Uber, which was desktop or robotics automation, chatbots and stuff. And then 5 months back, I left Uber to join an artificial AI, conversational AI startup company as the Chief Customer Success Officer. And we are based out of Orlando, Florida. And I am now truly a conversational AI product company, which is what we are doing, which is a very cutting edge, changing the landscape of UIs in a very natural language way of how we talk to the machines. So I guess that is my brief intro. And I'll probably wait for Suman to ask me more questions.
Sure. So you can use that.
Okay.
So my first question to you, I think it's better to have some chairs, otherwise you might confuse. It's okay. So my first question is, let's have a quick intro in terms of what is conversational AI and what's the business benefit of it?
That's a great question. Why are we in the business of conversational AI? So what is conversational AI means basically, or we say chatbots, but there is a differentiation there. I think, how many of you use Siri on your iPhone? Arindam mentioned iPhone. Some, but not everyone, right? So what is Siri doing? It really hears you out, understands what you're trying to say, and then gets back to you with your request. So that's conversation to an iPhone. So conversational AI has an element called NLP, or natural language processing, which means it understands what the human is trying to say, to understand the intent. What do you really mean when you ask a Siri, can you show me the contact of Mini Suri? Show me the contact. It's trying to understand what is the intent and what is the data, and the data here is Mini Suri. That gets converted to actual information which machine can understand. Now here two things are happening. One is the voice is converting to text, and then the machine is trying to understand what that text means, and then be able to respond back in text, and then the text gets converted to voice. So conversational chatbot or conversational AI that we're building is such kind of technology where we are basically in, let's say, if you have an HR systems. Now you could say, a chatbot could basically say, hey, can you show me what are my benefits or what's my comp for 2020, for example. Now you could use a website and navigate with so many clicks, or sometimes you don't even figure out what's going on a website. But think of a conversational AI where naturally you're speaking to a machine and machine comes back and gives you an answer. How powerful is that? Because there is no better UI than being able to talk to a machine. So that's where this whole technology is moving and where we see the benefit, because it is very consistent. Second, it is giving the comfort factor of talking in your own language or in a language that you're very comfortable about. And then the third thing is, you're able to, through this conversational AI experience, you're able to connect a lot of backends and collect the information and be able to give or present the information back to the user. And also what it really allows you to do is personalize the information. Now the thing is, if the machine can identify, I am a Mini Suri, I'm a platinum card holder of Citi, what the AI or the bot can do is, can actually sort of connect to our backend system and say, okay, Mini also has mortgage with us, or Mini also has something else with another product with Citi. It can say, okay, Mini, this is what your information is, but by the way, did you know that we have other I would say, a reward system going on at City. Maybe you want to understand that more. So now the bot is engaging me and is personalizing the information, which Mini can use it to our advantage, which sometimes our agents that we talk to on the phone may or may not know. So we are basically, as you, and I don't know, some of you may have heard of personalizing medicine, personalized medicine. This is personalizing experience. So that's why AI, conversational AI, is really ramping up. I would say 3 years back or 4 years back when I started in this technology, it was very new. Today, the space is like going off the roof because a lot of people are realizing that how critical it is to have this kind of experience. Because obviously the training of an agent, making sure the agent understands what the user's requirements are, that's all, it's quite a bit of training. So again, it's a very new technology, but again, it's changing the whole foray of the, something what we say is no UI is the best UI, and that's where we are.
Thank you. So my next question, as a segue from that, which industries do you think, from the consuming side, is having the maximum demand, or the business cases or the use cases?
So I would say financial industry is where I've seen a lot of demand. For example, Bank of America has Erica. Citi has Citi Bot. Most of these banks now have these bots, which if you go on a mobile app or on your web app, if you see there's a little chat button. Actually, this technology is going across. I was working with Groupons of the world, eBays of the world. Everyone needs this technology because often our website, we think we are simplifying, we are overly complicated. So how many times if somebody tells you, can you go on the website and find out that information, and you roll your eyes? I wish somebody could tell me where to go. And then what people do is, they actually pick up the phone and they like to call an agent. Now this is your agent, where you talk to the bot in a very simple way, hey, where do I find this information? And the bot says, I need it. So going back to your question, it started with, I would say financial industry was the first one that embraced this. I've seen financial industries that have been always the foray into any new technology, but this has become a technology which is being adopted by all sectors. Actually, this is interesting. We just built a bot for a cruise line, which is very interesting because when you're in a cruise and you want to know what movies are playing, what other activities are going on, you have to find or go to their website. But now if you have kiosk or a mobile app, you can ask the bot, what else is going on? And the bot comes back saying, by the way, Mini, I think you would love to do this. It can say, I think you like to play, or you like to go for a swim, or you like to have some kind of a theater, we have a show going on. Or if you have a kid who's like, a 10-year-old, the bot can actually say that, oh, for 10 years old, we have these things going on. So can you imagine the experience that the bot can now name and tell you exactly what your interest is? So again, going back, this is now being adopted across the industry, and we see this getting ramping up a lot.
Thank you. So next question is, it's my personal experience. Whatever limited from a consumer side or user perspective, I used chatbot. I think they're extremely good in terms of locating where the document is, where I need to go. That we can replace instead of a personal agent or human being. But if I need some personalized questions, which is more of a not very document-centric, I think still it's an area of improvement. Do you agree? And how fast do you think we can make it up again?
So we are seeing this improvement, I would say it's going really rapid now. We see, again, depending on, it's been a very new technology, it's evolving very fast. What we have seen now, the bots are now able to understand what we call this turn management, which means if let's say you start with the bot saying, bot, show me my balance, and then you say, oh well, can you also show me what's going on in the mortgage? And then you say, oh well, I also want to see something, my balance in my savings. So the bot can now handle multiple kind of conversations. Now the bots are getting more and more intelligent. They're getting more transactional than just doing an FAQ. So we see this technology progressing very fast. Not everybody has it. A lot of people are dabbling into it. this space is getting very busy. Not everybody understands. They have picked up some NLP libraries and they try to bring a bot experience. But there are players like who really have their own IP. I know the company that I work, we are very deep into making this a next generation. We also see Google's coming and the Microsoft's coming and the others. So there is a lot of investment going on making machines really smart. So you would see I would say by next year, this experience is just going to grow and it's on the rise. This is not going back.
So my next question is, if a company, maybe the startup or a mature company with a big legacy of technology, they want to get into the chatbot or more on the conversational AI front, what's their roadmap so as to get it mature? We haven't started it.
So you mean the companies looking into getting started in this?
Right.
I think so I deal with them pretty much every day. So what we really look into is where their pain points are. For example, if you're looking at a company internally, the pain points are ITSM, like IT help desk. It's a very repeated, you have your own systems, but then, these chatbots can really take, and we've seen 40% adoption by the bots. So HR systems. These are the things that you can easily start taking things off. We did multiple bots for a lot of financial services, for example. Then we see a lot of external use cases or internal help desk cases where you have your agents doing very scripted kind of information where the bots can actually take level 0 support out. So we are seeing a lot of use cases, but we are seeing banking bots, HR bots, ITSM bots, and something that we just came out is your virtual assistant, which is very powerful, which means every person has an access to their own virtual system. So for example, I have my own virtual system called, a virtual agent called Cora, and I said, Cora, can you please set up a time with me, Arindam, Shuli, and please look into the time that we three have. So my virtual assistant talks to Arindam's virtual assistant and Shuli's virtual assistant and presents to me, these are the 3 half-an-hour slots I see in all your calendar, which one would you like to accept? How powerful is that? I don't need an admin assistant. My virtual assistant is doing that. And then, let's say I want to assign a task to Shuli, that Shuli by Friday, can you please send me this report? It actually goes to Shuli and says, Shuli, do you accept the task from Mini? I don't have to follow up with her, it's all virtual assistant doing. So can you imagine? And this virtual assistant can call any kind of bots that you may have running on your desktop or in your company. So it's a virtual assistant which can now become your one interface that handles all multiple bots that you may have. So the whole concept of having the virtual assistant taking over is the next generation.
Thank you. And last question from my side. After that, I think it's better to take some questions from the audience. So, from a technology standpoint, if somebody wants to build a career, or maybe somebody wants to build an expertise, maybe they are already experienced in other technologies, what's the demand you are seeing? What are the technologies they need to be mastered in order to be an expert in the chat or this conversation?
That's a great point. So, this is very interesting. I know people think Java, machine learning, that's not the end of this UI. What we're looking is conversational designers, which you probably would not think that is the skill set that we need. But we need people who can really design the conversation because it's the bot and the person. We are looking for people who can really develop this bot persona. Then we also look at people who are linguists. We are actually hiring a lot of linguists. So we just hired someone who can speak 15 languages. And the reason we can do it because the bot we are developing are in multiple languages. Like for example, cities in 96 countries. I may develop a bot, but the similar bot experience in every language has its own nuance, for example. So the thing is, you need a linguist. Linguists can really understand what asking a question in English versus asking a question in Spanish can be a great experience. So again, the skill set is very unique. But the thing is, the way we are building a platform, we are trying codeless platform. A lot of some like Google Dialogflow, for example, if you've heard of it, is very dev-centric. That means you need to have that expertise. But the platform that we're looking to build is very codeless, where we need very small expertise from the developers, basically. So again, different people have different expertise. I would say machine, another thing is NLP analyst. People who can go and view the bots, like with the right, I would say, what we call as utterances. For example, if I want to say, show me my balance. Now, every one of you, if I ask you, how do you show me the balance, how do you ask that question? I think all of you will say, give me the money, where is my moolah, what is my bank account? So there are hundreds of ways of asking one question. How does a machine understand that thing? So we call it utterances, and we train the machine by that. So these are the things that we see as another additional skill sets that are being developed, other than your machine learning. And machine learning is because these platforms, the NLPs are there. So you should understand how these NLP engines and AI engines work. So obviously you need that. If you are in the very, very technical side of it, you would want to understand. But if you are in a hardcore development, yes, you need to have a machine learning background. But then if you are on the usage and development side, you see Java and Node.js and those kind of things, other than what I just said.
Thank you. And we have almost a minute, so let's take one question from the audience. So, who wants to compromise? We have two hands, one person.
It's not a question actually. I'm actually working in conversational AI in Deloitte, so I'm leading a team there. I just want to have a use case on top of Mini Suri. So right now we are doing a conversational AI practice with a big telecom company. I can't name the brand unfortunately. So they have actually a collection system. Before what they did was they have just taken up all the collection, and it's millions of dollars, like hundreds of millions, 200 to 300 millions of dollars that they're just signing off. What we are doing is we are making this conversational AI agent so that they can call these people to make a negotiation. So they will call me and say, hey Audio, you have $200 left. And okay, then they will negotiate. The conversational AI will negotiate on my behalf, and let's say he gets back $50 out of the 200. But that's money which they have just thrown up the field. We have built it, we have personalized it, as you said, we have really internet services, and we're giving a very good feedback right now, just to support you.
Yeah, no, this is a great use case. Excellent. Claim management.
Yeah, and also we are actually, just to you, Mini, we are actually coordinating with all Code.ai or
Yeah, you are actually one of our SI partners that we work very closely.
Yeah, so I would like to discuss more with you.
Absolutely.
So thank you, Argo. So it's a comment. So instead of that, let's take another question. Praveer, is it question, comment?
Yeah, question. So you talked about conversational AI, and there are a lot of talks about the transparency of AI, how it makes a decision or it's coming to an opinion. Because we have seen examples where Microsoft was shutting down their AI because it was fed with wrong data and it was biased. So what kind of mechanism you use to ensure that the decision made by conversational AI is transparent? That is question one. And two, what kind of measures you take to prevent it?
Yeah, that's a great question. So first of all, there are two kinds of, two techniques that we have, supervised training and unsupervised training. So what we support, we can do both, but what we tell our customers is let's do supervised training, which means what you can actually through our dashboard see what the bot is mapping that utterance to that particular task. So if, for example, you said show me the balance, you should be able to see the utterance to the right task, and you can actually say, okay, did it do the right way or not right way? So everything should be transparent to you, and you should be able to say, bot, this is not the right mapping, but here you should do the right mapping. So that's the kind of ability that we want to give you, where you can see it through your dashboards. Now, we are also not very comfortable that we should get into unsupervised learning for you, especially when the technology is also getting matured and you guys are also getting matured. So I think unsupervised training will eventually happen once we feel there's a maturity where the bots can self-learn, and bots are self-learning. It's just that we want to put check bounds over there that we can see what the bot is really doing, because our auditors are not comfortable, our business is not comfortable. They don't want the bot to say something to the clients, especially external clients, so we got to be very careful. So again, there are a lot of checks and bounds that's being put together, not something like what you hear in the news is just one-off cases. So most of the people are actually very, very careful on that.
But like, so exactly we had to shut down because in a pharma.
We cannot hear you, Jantada.
So this is a very good question because in our pharma environment, we had to make a decision. Why that bot made a decision to say this? So we had to shut down. We did some lot of pilots. We had to shut down the pilot because we couldn't get back to the auditors. Why that bot did a decision? So they need something when there's an audit or something. They needed some audited logs. Something. Why that? So are you looking into that?
Yeah, we have everything exposed to our analytics dashboard because that we knew is the audit requirement. So every chat script that you can see as an audit trail, as well as you also see what the bot responded back. So we basically just built this whole analytics dashboard. As I said, you can see if the bot has mapped something, what the user said to the intent of the user, to the flow, you can actually see it. And if you see that's not right, you can correct it right away. So that's that you have to expose it. If you don't, then obviously you don't know what the bot responded back. It would be totally irrelevant. And that is really harmful sometimes because it may be giving a data which probably is not the right data. So again, I think clarity, exposing the information, building these analytics dashboards is very key for this technology.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Mini. I know it's an interesting topic. We can spend the whole day, but because of the time, thank you for the conversation. One conversation.
Suman, why can't we
Name of the company? Yeah, that you can talk to me. Okay, so next one is with the Praveer Ghosh. He's going to talk about our next series. But before Praveer starts, just one point. Those who haven't done the registration, please do that after Praveer's speech because then we will have 30 minutes to 40 minutes round table. So we need maybe a couple of minutes to set up. So floor is to you, Praveer.
Good afternoon, everyone, and what a good start. The house is fully packed, oversold. I see there are 33